Hi guys, my name is Sarah Hartman, and I am going to be discussing our strategic plan and how my role helped contribute for the strategic plan. For this assignment, I chose the role of president. I learned quickly that the president is there to listen and get feedback from others, and then sort of give my ideas and what I'm feeling, and basically at the end give my blessing that yes, this is what I think should happen, and move that forward onto the board of trustees. I learned I had to be a very effective communicator, as I was going to have to be communicating closely with other departments, offices on campus, such as resident life, athletics. I had to make sure I had good communication with those offices. Also, the faculty. I didn't realize how much interaction I would have to have with the faculty to make sure that I was really understanding where they were coming from on their issues and things like that. So I learned communication is key in the president's position. And that really helped me contribute by just communicating what my plans were and where I feel the institution was heading. I contributed by talking about our budget and funding issues. I recommended to the cabinet that we work on a job hiring freeze. I thought that would be important for the institution. And I also talked about possibly outsourcing services so that we could save the institution money. Now, this was nothing that was set in stone, but these were my ideas that I threw out to the cabinet members to discuss. I thought it's very important in the president's role to contribute my ideas and things that I have thrown around and see how not only the cabinet members, but also faculty and staff and how they are how accepting they are of those ideas. I also touched on the building and technology. I let the cabinet members know my feelings were that we needed to update our buildings immediately. They not only need to look the part of a clean and safe university so that we can increase our recruiting efforts, but we also need to have a safe environment for our students so that we can increase our enrollment. I did discuss adding a proposal for additional custodial staff over the next 5 years, and I thought that was important for the cabinet members to hear and to see what their reactions were to that. I also contributed by discussing safety and the importance of improving our safety efforts on campus. I discussed how we needed to speak with faculty and let them know, along with like our physical plant, the process for safely and effectively removing hazardous material and hazardous waste from campus. I thought this was a huge safety issue, and it need to be one of our top priorities was removing this and teaching our faculty how to do it safely and how to go about the whole process. The main key there, again, communication, make sure I'm communicating all of that. I also thought it was important that we update the dispatch radios and the equipment for the police department. Again, safety is key, and we need to make sure that we can get to a call if we need to, and that our dispatch equipment is the same as the local police department as well, so that they will be able to communicate back and forth effectively. I also had to work closely with the athletic director to make sure, and with our external relations, to make sure that we were creating a budget idea for our athletics program for the next year to 5 years, to make a game plan on whether or not we were going to include the football team, create a new field, how we were going to use our funding for that. And again, my role in that was really one of communication, communicating that what others on campus feel is important and what I think is important. I also mentioned to the cabinet members that we needed to do a review of our student services offices. We needed to determine which office is receiving the most funding. Also, we need to focus on budgeting money correctly for those offices. So if one office is getting much more money but is seeing a lot less student traffic, then I felt though we needed to reallocate that money into an office that is going to need it because they're seeing higher student traffic. Again, that was my recommendation to the cabinet members, and I was looking for their feedback to get an idea of what they were thinking on this idea. I also discussed some reorganization of the student services offices, maybe combining certain offices to not only create more of an effective environment for students, but also a more effective environment for staff. If they are busy trying to do 10,000 things in their office and they cannot complete all of them, then it would be a good idea to reorganize that office, give people a proper amount of work so that they can keep up with student traffic and effectively help the students like we are here to do. Again, this was something that I recommended to the cabinet to hear their thoughts on this. Diversity we felt was very important, and I explained that I felt we should work closely with admissions recruiters and outreach programs, as well as Latino outreach programs and student organizations to increase our Hispanic student population while also capitalizing on that Hispanic population boom that was discussed. I felt that we needed to make sure we were still receiving grants and funds for our Hispanic students, as well as budgeting those funds to allow for more tutoring, career planning, academic assistance, things like that. I recommended this to the board. I thought this was very important, that we continue our diversity aspect and keep that as one of our guidelines. However, I also think it's important that we follow up with these students. We could see one of our issues was that we had a decline in the number of Hispanic students who were maintaining and staying here on campus. So I felt that was very important that we stuck with that diversity issue, and we were able to work closely together to get that fixed. I really enjoyed my role as president. Again, I feel that communication is key as president, not only talking to people and creating those bonds so that we can work back and forth together, but listening is huge. Having to be able to hear what others are thinking or what they're saying, I guess, and also being able to capitalize on information that you're receiving from others so that you can make the appropriate fixes on campus as well.